What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of CarX Drift Racing 2 with BrogAutohaus. We are talking about the Prestigio today. I finally pulled the trigger and bought this car. I redesigned it, put a new body kit on it, painted it, and made it my own. And I really like how it turned out. I made some tuning adjustments, so the tuning will be later in the video here. But man, this thing is a riot. I can't wait to get into it even more. And really looking forward to showing you guys what this thing's all about. So thanks for being here. We'll jump into a top 32 battle with this car, show you guys how it fends for itself in the battles. It was my first ever top 32 battle I've done with this car at all. I didn't pre-practice a bunch of races and stuff, so growing to get used to the car and really excited about what the future holds for this thing. So without further ado, let's jump right into it, and we'll see what you guys think. Alrighty guys, so I entered a silver DP competition with the Prestigio here. I'm going to run you through my qualification and top 16 battle, as well as my top 8 battle, where I lost by just a few points and I was a little disappointed, but wanted to show you guys nonetheless. We're going to start off with my qualification run here. It qualified me for 7th place. I was on the semi-slick tires, and this is with my new tune that I created. And we'll just do a straight up behind view. Show you a little bit here. Go left, flicked it in. Went a little wide on this first zone, but was able to bring it back around with a nice transition and smooth all the way to the outside zone here. Just one tire kind of slipped off the track. Nice inside clip there, nice and tight. Flick it back around to get to this whole outside zone and kind of stick the rear tires on that line. And I felt like I did a pretty good job of that into the finish here. So obviously, not a outstanding best run. Obviously, I qualified 7th, but then I had a top 16 battle against a Wellington, and I'll show you me chasing him down, and then we're going to go back and watch his chase run on me. We'll do the same thing for top 8, and then we'll go from there. So he was a little slower than me, so I ended up switching in one of the runs to a sport tire instead of a semi-slick so that I wouldn't overdrive him and basically have too much speed. So felt like I did a pretty good job staying in the pocket here, getting right up on his door and kind of trying to keep angle with him. He had a couple odd braking zones, but overall very smooth lead run, which I always appreciate. I hate the guys that are trying to be sneaky and pull off some weird stuff to make you mess up in the chase. So overall, great lead run from him, and pretty good chase. Obviously, I did get the win in this battle, but you'll see here, I'll show you his chase on me as well, just to see how he did. I haven't viewed this yet, and I'm assuming he had a hard time keeping up with me because the Lamborghini is so fast. And it looks like, yeah, it starts him way back, which is really not fair. I wish they would let you kind of pace yourself off the start to gain proximity before the main entry. I wish they didn't pace it like they do at the beginning of this. Hopefully they'll change that at some point and kind of let us drive out from the get-go so that we can maintain the right pace and get off it. So obviously, like I said, I was too fast for him to chase, and he was cutting all the corners to try to keep up with me, and quite frankly, it's just going to lose you the battle. So this top 8 battle was super close. I had a great chase on him, I felt, and up until the last 5 seconds before the battles ended, it said that I was going to win the battle. He obviously got a run in that just absolutely killed it. So at this point, I switched back to semi-slicks because he was on them as well. Got a little far inside of him, had to handbrake there. That's probably the difference in points that he was able to get over me, because then I was able to get back in the pocket pretty good and stay on. And for the most part, I mean, we're moving pretty quick, and I'm not dooring him the whole time like I wish I could have. And then here, as the final came out, playing it back here just a little bit, but coming into this final corner, I didn't have the push forward into this corner to maintain on his door. I was full throttle, and my car was floating out just a little bit too much on the outside there. So kind of a bummer with that, but nonetheless, I want to see how his chase run went, because obviously it was really good. And the Blackjack is probably one of the only other cars that can keep up with the Lamborghini. From what I've figured out just from this battle alone, this is the first top 32 competition I've entered with this car, and I just made the tuning adjustments this morning, so I'm not 100% comfortable with the car yet, but overall I thought it was pretty good. You can see he's doing a decent job here of, I think he's just keeping a bigger angle in chase than what I was doing behind him. And he flicks it out, does a really good job. I mean, I don't know. Bringing it back to this last corner a little bit, I'm surprised he got the score he did, given that his proximity really wasn't there, but he had a lot of angle, so you got to give it to him. But unfortunately, that's going to do it for our top 8. Other than that, we're going to jump into the tuning here quick. I'll show you guys the tuning adjustments that I did make. There's not a ton, so you guys can actually make these adjustments on your own without buying the tune if you don't want to, but it will be in the tuning store as well. So let's jump on over to that. All right, guys, we're going to jump into the tuning on the Prestigio here. As you can see, I did kind of make my own little livery here. I didn't like how busy the green with all the crazy logos and stuff all over it was. I like a little bit of a cleaner design, so did the iReady stickers and then just the stripes over the top. I also did choose a different body kit than what it comes with from the purchase when you grab it, and it comes with the D-Master, or I'm sorry, yeah, it comes with the D-Master kit, and I liked the D-Master as far as the fender flares go and the rear and everything. I think it looks really nice. The street kit looks cool as well, and then obviously you can see bone stock. I went for the ProFlow kit. I thought that the spoiler and the fender flares and everything looks really cool. It's like a super Trofeo kit, so I went with that one and put on those kind of BBS style wheels on it as well. As far as tuning goes, I haven't changed a ton. You'll be able to find my tune in the tuning workshop under BrogAutohaus. So when you go to the settings here, we'll select Springstone just for now. And I'm going to show you guys all the tuning stuff that I changed. So in the front suspension here, I increased the spring stiffness just a little bit to 65. I also increased the sway bar. I think it was almost all the way down. I brought it up to 66. I set the wheel toe to -0.1. And that was set at 0. The camber, I believe, is at -5 when you get it, but I did increase the caster to 9.5. It's at 8 standard, so I increased that. And if I'm not mistaken, I increased the Ackerman up to 70. It could already have been there. I'm having a hard time remembering exactly what I changed, but that was it for the front suspension. The rebounds and everything I did not adjust yet. I haven't had enough time to really play with this thing to an extreme to know if I want to make more adjustments, but right now it feels really good the way it's set up. The camber was at -2. I went to a -1.5 for a little more grip and speed and cornering, and then I went to a -0.06 on the rear wheel toe. That was set at 0 before. I did not touch the sway bar in the rear, and I don't believe I did the stiffness or spring size either. I kind of liked where that was sitting. So it has 21-inch wheels. In the front, I brought it down to a 285. It was set to the maximum. I had the 305 when I got it, but I don't tend to like such a large front tire, so I have a 285 in the front and a 325 in the rear with the 25% profile on both. The engine, I just increased a tiny bit, maxed it out. 902 horsepower, 850 newton meters of torque. In the transmission here, I increased the diff from 0.5 up to 0.61, and I also increased the overall gear ratio. It was at like a 3.5-ish, and I increased that to a 4.00. And then I adjusted 4th, 5th, and 6th gear. So 4th gear was at more like a 1.45. I went to a 1.5. 5th gear was at a 1.15 or a 1.08. I can't remember exactly. And I brought that up to a 1.25. And then 6th gear was at a 0.85, and I brought that up to a 1.05. And that is going to help me kind of maintain the drift even when I get up to 6th gear at the really high speed tracks. The gear shifting delay, brought that all the way down to 0.20. My braking momentum and shared to front axis I did not change. And here on the general, all I changed was stuff for fitment. So I brought the front out a little bit because I used a skinnier tire than what they came with factory. And then the rear I brought in -1.9, and I actually think that they set this at -2. It's very tight fitment. There's almost no gap there, but I just liked how it looked. I brought the center of mass height up to a 25% from the very bottom that it was set at before. So Not a ton of adjustments, but just enough to make this thing really, really fun to drive. I'll show you guys a little bit of driving here, and then we'll call it good on the video. So appreciate you guys watching as always. The new update video did really well, so thanks to everybody who's watched that video and subscribed to the channel. I'd like to thank all the new subscribers. We're continuing to grow, and I hope to hit 5K by the end of the year, which we got about a month left, and that's a very steep goal, but I think we can do it. So if you guys could help me, that would be much, much appreciated. Let me know if you have comments or questions down below. I'm happy to answer them. If you have questions about how to set something up or how to tune a certain car, I've done a lot of car tuning videos, but if there's something that's missing, let me know, and I'm happy to make videos on some new cars that I haven't done in the past. So appreciate you watching as always. Don't forget to put your life in drive, and we will see you next time.